Fucked up, smelling like that bourbon that I end up alone.
Welcome to PUBG Mobile.
Welcome to the Be My Loot PMCO finalist scrims. Tonight we have Highland Wolf with us. Good evening, Highland Wolf.
Good evening, man. Super happy to be with you here, Buff. And as you mentioned, we are here on the PMCO UK Finals scrims for the Spring Split 2021. We've got 16 beautiful teams here in the lobby about to jump into the first map here on Erangel. And take us through a little bit about this playing path, man.
So we have the flight path. It is from the west side, just above Lipovka, between Kamishki and Lipovka. It goes directly towards. It's quite a little bit disturbing that every team is jumping at the moment. It goes over the mansion, over Pochinki, all the way towards the west south side, towards Primorsk.
It is, of course, going to be over to that southwestern end of the first map. And I think this is what looking at this playing path is going to be interesting, because you see that Georgia Pole area that here was really contested going into the group stage is no longer going to be so available for these teams, because you see teams making the change in rotations, a change in drop path, with it obviously being on that south coastline, the majority of teams dropping over there.
Yeah, well, apparently there's some people already that have a fight on the hand just below Kamishki.
Of course, is Kameshki there going to be first of all to be the start? As you see, Be My Loot losing one player, Shadow going to drop down for now, but will be not eliminated just yet. Has now the chance for his teammates to come revive, but you see on, of course, the other hand, though, the side of most wanted, going to be the perpetrators of that knock, looking to try flush one out. You see them looking to now take the second, as Zeus now coming with the Uzi round the side, will get the knock for now, and that will be 1-1 trade.
Yeah, it surprised me, to be honest, that from all places to, near Kamishki that people are into a fight. Normally, you never see people dropping over there. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, of course, right? Like, it is, of course, an interesting space that these teams are fighting, because at the start you see that 1-for-1 trade going out, but unfortunately not going to be the 1-for-1 flush. Is Be My Loot, of course, did pick up their fourth member, and they have now 4 members to rotate now closer into the zone. That zone, of course, on our screens is going to be around that northeastern side. So no going to be on a Sonovka military island potential finish. But interestingly, what surprises me here is around coming to that center point, you see only KI1 Esports controlling that center point of zone with Yasnaya. 0 teams here.
Yeah, that surprised me as well. It's quite in the center of the zone. So normally, what I've seen already from my experience in casting, that people that jump towards their normal places, and then as soon as the zone pops up, they go directly to the center of the zone, especially on a wrangle. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how it is gonna be tonight, but I'm pretty sure that the most teams will try to get that center of the zone.
And what interests me as well here in terms of rotations is down south. Of course, we see Simba Cable MX are going to have to rotate up towards that north side, but hold that thought because you do see, of course, KI1 taking that fight around the center versus Be My Loot, is it will be Hisoka now being knocked as well. Be My Loot, they've already lost Clash Devo, so we have to be a little bit careful on this open assault over to the enemy squad ahead of them. You see, though, KI1, they have the compound in play, and because they've got this cover, they are going to be able to revive Ahsoka. They put the smokes up as well to block Be My Loot's vision, and now they'll be able to reset and go back into this fight strong.
Well, to be honest, I think the fight here in Kamishki has already been done with Bima Loot. I'm not 100% sure. I think there's something. There's a team in slot 25. I'm not 100% sure what happened over there.
Yeah, of course, KI1 down in the center here, in around the Roshawk
Yeah.
School area, going to be that 4-man still up for KI1, despite the fact they got knocked initially. But for now, you see the side of Be My Loot, Sultan Kindboy making their rotation here towards now that center of the zone as well. And they, of course, are going to be looking to try to take control, potentially maybe flank round the side of Roshog, come through to Yaznaya from there if they retreat. Have to be careful for teams behind them. And I wanted to talk back before that fight started out as well, right? About the Uncles and Rengars down on Farm and Milta area. And these two teams are going to be core in stopping both 777. And of course, also keep in mind as well the side of Royal Knights there. Going to have a harder time, going to be rotating up into that zone, and one of the few teams going to be the furthest away from the zone, particularly.
Just trying to figure out there's something going on over here. I'm gonna try to figure out what's that. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's why you see, obviously, down on the side to the side of TSC Legends, rotating up their way as well. And I think that is also interesting in terms of all of these teams now heading towards the center. But we did see, of course, down there as well, the side of Rescue rotating around that Georgia Pole area. But as we mentioned, TSC Legends going to be jumping around to the center. You see KI1 here in the center as well. They still now have this hilltop compound as well, overlooking here the fields around Yaznaya. And as TSC Legends rotate their way up towards that Yaznaya compound, you can expect to see these knocks come out, particularly maybe even a third party is also Optic making their rotation just down below them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just was trying to figure out something. But now I'm back. So we're now with I'm here with KI and just shooting the tire out so nobody else can take control of that vehicle. So yeah, like I said earlier, you can see that the teams try to get the center of the zone. They're all rotating in towards the center except for Team 10. The Royal Knights, they're still in the melee base, just jumped in their vehicle, and 777 is also still in Nova crates. So they try to loot up as much as possible, like we can see, and then get their rotation in.
And of course, it is going to be some of these southern teams that are going to have the hardest time rotating into zone. Thankfully, though, for them, you see Rengars have now separated away from farm on their own rotation. But a congestion, as we mentioned, really is now starting to move up around that Yaznaya fields towards the center of this now phase 1 still zone. You see Lacanostra MVP, even now that fourth squad here, coming in to try find a spot inside the central area. Lacanostra MVP so often always looking after potentially a first fight over in Lipovka to make it into the center of zone and then be able to control and centralize from there.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we also know that in the beginning nobody jumped towards Yasnaya. Well, like you said, now everybody's trying will be trying to get in that area of Yasnaya as much as possible.
And right, you see the side of these teams, even Be My Loot might be one of the teams here to take control of it. Be My Loot EU here, looking to try take control of that compound, as we say so. But on the kill feed as well, even more dropping down as the congestion really now starts to pick up. As Fools will lose one member, only now Hyder, Toxic, and Charlie remaining as they lose their scout moving into KI1.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit off guard over here. I was looking at some play another fight there while you were saying.
Yeah, and of course, even the side right of now Royal Knights picking up their rotation against 777 on the south side on that eastern bridge is of course Royal Knights now with MX trying to gatekeep away the side of 777, struggling here as Londa's now been knocked as well. That blue zone coming in from behind will also now start to chew them up, and with King all the way over in Novo still, that split not paying out well for the side of UV on his own here, solo on the bridge. The blue zone ticking his health away with still 250 meters to go on the zone. Is going to keep himself safe for now, but the vehicle for the possible rotation has now been lost. King does have one himself, looking to try rotate as that phase 2 zone also shifts back down towards the south end, going to now really heat up the tension between these teams in the center, like Optic, of course, as TSC Legends will go up to them as well. 777 do lose down, though, as Royal Knights make the 1-for-1 trade. King is still up in Cable, now making to look the 2-kill happen, but won't be able to just yet. Cable slips away with a sliver of health, and now comes in the revive, potentially MX for the third party, but the 2 kills go their way. And 777, despite the fact that in the blue zone, they will not be stopped just yet, and King looking to now take control of this bridge side, looking to try to take control of the rotations coming up ever so slowly.
Well, MX just revived Simba, and throws a nade and some mollies towards UV of 777.
Yeah, 777 UV will fall down finally in the hands, of course, of Royal Knights. 777 Nova, remaining member King now makes a ascent, tries to dodge out the bullets. Simba's not going to find any just yet. MX looking to be first out. King trying to do the damage he possibly can do just now if he does go down. Even Cable's coming around the front side, has to make the 1-versus-1 happen. Prone's down, finds the first. Now he needs to come back under. First aid kit to heal himself back up as that zone tickles him away. But Simba's coming in. The flush will find it. Simba will keep himself alive, but it wasn't clean. Royal Knights down to 1 player.
Yeah, that was the end of 777. We saw that King was still looting in Novo, while the rest of his team already was rotating their rotation in the zone, and that didn't pay off at all. They really struggled with it. They also jumped as a tree, so that's also a downside that they have.
As well, another fight still breaking out between, of course, TSC Legends, who have also fallen here against the hand of Optic, just to the edge of that fight, though. You see even Uncles and Rengars going to be fighting it out. Uncles looking to try cook a grenade onto the side of Rengars will find the one piece for now. Will blow them up, and that will be now Zalut also falling down and making the entire squad of Rengars, because they'll have to kiss goodbye to game number 1. See you in number 2, because Uncles will take you down.
Well, I'm just looking at the map for a second. The zone just reshifted, and it went back to the south again. So everyone is now in the zone. We have over here rescue that blood is now being knocked. We have Uncle that still is in a fight with Optic. So everybody's trying to get their rotation in towards the center of the zone. Okay, that's much better. We can see him a little bit better now.
You see, even of course, right, Rescue with that knock, they're going to really struggle, because look at the open ground on this map as well that you see Rescue going over. KI1 are going to have to take. That is a dip across the road over the high ground of KI1, which is going to be so tricky for them to try and maneuver through. There's no easy way without a crash over that roadside into maybe the compounds just to the northwest of KI1, potentially is the only way they'll be able to get through into safety to the center of the zone. If not, make a hard rotation around to another team. You see, though, in the center, still Optic looking to control it alongside, of course, Uncles need to get their own way across the road, and Simba also joining into the fray, the solo player for Royal Knights, but a strong position in zone.
Well, at this point, a strong position in the zone is crucial. If you don't have the position that when the zone pops up on a completely different side, you can be surprised, and then you have to rethink your rotation completely.
And right, it's this kind of weird position, of course, to Simba. Yes, he gets inside the zone here, buff, but on the other hand, though, he's now in between a triangle of squadrons here. There's Lacknostra MVP, Optic Uncles all around him, looking to make it their kill. But it will be now Simba to stay quiet, find himself a spot maybe on top of the rock like the lion he is, and be able to try pick off some third-party knocks for himself and for his team. On the other hand, though, of course, you've got Hardshift on that flank side, coming out of the mansion area. Very, very open for them. I expect teams here, Buff, to be able to be rotating around like Lacknostra MVP over now towards the edge of the fields, towards the eastern side of now this phase 3 zone. Because the hills there that you see even Be My Loot EU controlling are going to be so strong.
Well, it's crucial that I know 3 things. You have to do your rotation correctly. You have to figure out where the zone is. High ground is very important. And then we also have high ground and a compound. If you have those 3 in mind and you control it, then that's a recipe for with good luck. That's my opinion. I'm not sure. How do you think of it?
I think in terms of like being able to get that high ground position, as particularly you see Be My Loot EU, you see them actually having one of the strongest positions, I would say, in this zone. In that high ground, just overlooking the south, there's no teams going to be congesting around them either. So they've actually got pretty free reign about where they want to rotate. And as well, if it turns out to be that hard shift towards one side, they're able to have some breathing space to be able to move in and adapt to that zone as well. I think on the other hand, though, although Optic they had that central position in the zone, maybe we took it a bit too early. Because now you obviously see the side of Optic here rotating towards maybe a hard shift north. It's going to be so tricky with so many teams potentially going to be ahead of them.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's crucial that you master the the rotations that you can spectate what the zone will do. But like you said, if you go too early and the zone pops up towards the other side, then it's all been for nothing.
Right, in terms of their team's positions. And I quite like even inside of KI1 here, although they are a little bit sandwiched between teams, what they do control in their position is, of course, that high ground. And you see them now taking our flank side for more control, a broader control with a dealer 99 moving their way over towards the hilltop of Mailu, assessing the situation around them and getting prepared for that now phase 4 rotation going to be coming on our screens. And just very, very shortly, you see that zone going to be closing in, and these teams are going to have to fight.
Well, I'm trying to find where everyone exactly is. We're here now with full full esports. They have their compound, and the zone just shifted again. And as soon we see now that the zone shifted, and they jump in a vehicle, and they go directly towards another, and they do their rotation, and they go try to find a better position into the zone.
And I think in terms of finding a better position in zone, it's going to be hard for him, right? Because we've only got really that central part between KI1, between, of course, the side of Zephyr and Poe, the side of Sons of Odin, to really be able to make some magic happen and get inside phase number 4. Uncles, they will find a series of knocks though themselves. As Optic, crucial point for Jargo, unfortunately, to go down here with teams rotating in. But on the other side, it is, of course, the side of KI1 Esports defending up against Rescue as well. And we talked about this. These teams on multiple fronts with this zone trying to make their ascent. Even now, as you see, Dealer getting knocked on the other side would be my UK Sultan knocking down one of the uncles as they split up and try assault the entire squad of uncles all at once. Uncle's losing another there as it will. Oh, Uncle's taking another, excuse me, as Bimalu will lose one in return. Insane will not go down with Arga just yet. Unfortunately, Arga now falls so and gets picked off as the two members come around the wall, pick them apart, and Insane, all they can do is take the bike, better rotate into zone, but straight in the hands potentially here of Optic. They got to be careful of where they're rotating. We still, of course, keep in mind, Be My Loot behind them the whole time.
Yeah, well, we see Insane over here. I think he realized that if he was pushing further in, then he was going towards another team. Like where the zone is closing in so fast, we're now in zone 4, and as soon as you go straight into the zone, there you know it's gonna be quite congested, and people will fight. And if you're by yourself, it's a recipe for disaster then.
And even on the other side, of course, we look at the side of Sons of Odin facing up against Fools Esports. Fools, they built themselves a smoke wall, but the zone is just going to play nasty to them either way. More smokes coming out, but Sons of Odin want to try to pin them here. It's a smoke cloud initially here will disappear. Look, and now even the side of Most Wanted running into zone, Sleepless from behind. It's just going to snatch that position straight up as this zone still now stops. We see Charlie Toxic gonna fall and Sons of Odin making it a 3-1. For their advantage. Toxic's gonna be first down. Charlie is gonna be first down too. Ads might not be so lucky compared to Sleepless. Will get sniped as a buggy. Comes over the hill, but Ads will not. Sleepless, the only one for Most Wanted to make that rotation.
Yeah, like I said earlier, there's 3 ways you can have a recipe for luck. Rotation, high ground, and hard cover. We have here Sons of Odin. They had the hard cover against the Fools Esport, while Fools Esport didn't have any cover. And guess who won the fight?
Right, in terms of Sons of Odin, they take that cover, but what they are in trouble is just like we saw with Uncles. Maybe they get third parties towards the edges zone. Maybe they get gate kept here towards the edge of zone. You see, even KO1 still fighting here against Rescue towards the outskirts of his zone. Phase 5, only 20 seconds left. You see Blood coming over the hill, potentially. Hackshot still needs to be revived, but Moha's got to peek away. Is now the entire squad comes over the hill. Moha will fall down. Soka's now the only one alive, trying to pull off the 1 versus 4, but gets smacked behind a rock, and that will be Rescue taking up all of KI1's kills.
Indeed. Well, if you push, they were trying to push. They were pushing as a team, and that's crucial. If you try to push, you really have to push in, with it as a team. Um,
That crucial aggression, right? In terms of
Yeah.
like the stop on that revive of Hackshot actually allowed Rescue to make that play work. If they had stopped towards the edge of that hillside, they wouldn't have been able to be so aggressive. They would have had now a 3-on-4 in their hands, but they stopped the numbers advantage coming back potentially now with the positional advantage that KI1 sort of had going into that fight. They stop it and cut it short. They take the kills. Also, kills going over, of course, the side of Hardship, losing one. Be My Loot also rotating inside the zone as well. But that zone, phase 5 is shifted with 0 players inside. Is Hardship now struggling on the edge? They've lost, obviously, Carol Hose. They now have to try make that empty open field rotation with EU sniping down. Lotus will take one knock, and that will be just 2 members remaining. Hardman and Spongy, they're going to be able to pick up this revive. On the other end, though, you still, of course, even see the side of Sons of Odin losing another as JC and Albert also make their attempt inside the zone. Optic behind them have lost 1 knock. Lacknostra MVP still alive with 2.
Well, this late in the zone, we're down to zone 6. If you stay in the zone in the blue pot, then it's completely lost for you. The zone is hurting so much at this point that it's really going to take away your health. And if you then cross another team, they just have to put in 1 bullet, and it's over for you.
Right, in terms of now, Sleepless going to be able to hold off maybe the entire side of Rescue. Will have to have that miracle play. But Sleepless now finds another onto Coyote, but will get knocked by Hyper. Lacknostra MVP holding firm, but not so much now. Is Danny going to be first out? Senso is going to be the double, and all of those players rotating in front of them, snipe them out, try for a position inside a zone. Hardship not quite able to get there. They suffer a couple of knocks. Is Optic now find potentially more onto Rescue as well. Rescue and Tatters on the other side as well.
But I haven't seen much from Hardshift. The Lotus, the Lotus is healing up while they're spotting Rescue. All Rescue is still being survived. We see also that Sons of Odin is still with 2. They're going for the center of the zone. We see Albert over here. That he's the only one that is already in the zone at this point.
Yeah, Albert with his position here could make things happen, but Spongy will also make some things happen, potentially on to the enemies in front of him. As Optic Gaming have lost 1, you now see Spongy in some trouble behind the Jeep. The tires have now gone, but they keep themselves alive crucially. Not so much can be said potentially for Optic, who are, of course, the furthest behind inside this zone. Only really 1 death here now to try and flank around their new position over Sons of Odin, currently taking their fight, of course, onto the side of Rescue, as Coyote will be knocked and firsted out by Albert, but now turning back over to Raccoon, as JC now takes a second. Argo going to be popped with the zone, that's going to be 2 more. Death gets knocked as well, and JC's trying to make things happen. Sons of Odin, although they didn't qualify for the finals, but looking to now take it on to all of these qualified teams as Hardfish potentially their next victim. And Albert now being revived. Hardman throws the grenade, but it's going to go wide. Hardman, the only player alive, but gets knocked down, and that will be Sons of Odin taking the first game, their first chicken dinner, with a whopping 11 kills.
And okay, what? Oh, your camera's still off. Well, we've seen that Sons of Odin, they have like, what is it? Showing. Let me see.
I mean, of course, like Sons of Odin, right? They take the first place, and that is really a showing and a really strong stand here for them, because of course they didn't qualify as we mentioned, but what they have done is showing their caliber as a team and their representation as a UK team still in these scrims and showing up strong, not giving up against the teams that did qualify ahead of them. Of course, so you've got Hardshift in second position with 4 kills there. Optic taking up third with 11 as well. Optic just couldn't quite finish those kills off with the chicken dinner. The zone was a little bit too far out for them. In fourth, you've got, of course, Rescue in fourth position with 5 kills. Lacanostra MVP in fifth with 3. Be My Loot EU going to be in sixth position with 3 most wanted and 7 0 kills. Royal Nice in eighth with 4. And of course, the side of KR1 there in ninth position with 4 kills as well. And before you take the rest of the leaderboard, I also want to say, in terms of Royal Knights, props to them, right? But for getting that 8th position, considering that they almost could have been knocked out earlier on.
Yeah, indeed. To be honest, I'm most surprised of Sons of Odin that they didn't qualify. I'm still surprised. If you see what they're doing right now here, like Albert, what he did at the last point, that position and everything, that they didn't make it in the finals, I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, it is surprising to see. It's a little bit heartbreaking to see them turn up so strong against these teams. Unfortunately, just of course a game too late, a day too late here. But what we do have to wait for now is if they can show up here, Buff, in game number 2. In game number 2, it's going to be, of course, on that Sandhog jungle and going to be on that more hectic run and gun jungle map, of course, that we will love. But don't go anywhere, of course, because that will be in a couple of moments. Stay tuned, grab your coffees, grab your drinks, grab your popcorns, because it's going to be a whopper.
When I'm up through the night, I can't turn down the noise. Tear all the worries out of my mind. About who I'm supposed to be, I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, live
Well, we're back for the second game on the lovely. I do love I was gonna say Wrangle as well. I'm a little lightheaded, I think. On the lovely Senok. I do love Senok. Everybody knows it by now, and I think they're saying, "Oh no, Buff is over there again." He's saying he loves his Senok again.
Oh man, Sanho is my favorite too. So it's a joint love buff. It's a joint love
Ah,
over on this map. And I tell you what, maybe these teams aren't loving is this playing path though. Although it is on Bisnor's side, it will be slightly towards the south end, Nakam, Sami, Camp Charlie, Cave area, which teams are not going to be able to reach so easily. But in terms of the action already starting off, I do have to hold my thoughts here on this plane path because Rescue, they are starting over here in this boot camp. They've taken now 1 kill on to Cyrex.
let me look over there.
We see now the side of Rescue holding up against Uncles as well on the edge of this compound, but it will be Uncles to get smacked here. JZ going to fall down to his feet. Eslam as well, super low, but they've lost Tick on the backside. They best be careful because Blood as well, though, help Rescue could easily be picked off here. They are still both low. The shots could come through the window, but they keep themselves alive for now. You see Hyper and Coyote here holding down on that ground. The split here holding strong for now. Deadpool just waiting to now be first to Dolph, accepting his fate, unfortunately, for, of course, the side of Cyrex ESP. Not the start that they wanted going into game number 2 here, as Rescue now have even their advantage over Uncles and Saint Islam. Only 2 members here on the inside of that lobster building. Phantom on the edge might just go for that escape.
And I think we lost Island Wolf for a second.
Oh no, I'm still.
Oh, okay. I thought you dropped out. It's possible. You never know when you're live. Everything can be can happen.
You see Yusuf coming in here, though, and Sane has also dropped down, though. The damage already been done. Uncles will fall down in one of the last positions here. Cyrax, though, Phantom is now holding up, is chosen to stay inside the compound, going to minimize the footsteps and the sound that he is making, as audio cue is going to be denied as best possible from Rescue. On the other hand, though, still the action continuing over on that Hatin to the north with Hardshift facing up against Rengars. You see, the son of Misaki has already fallen down, will be first out as decisively Hardshift make their assault through Hatin over to now Flags as well.
Well, if I'm playing myself and and I'm playing on Senok, then I'll most likely go to Hatin. It's one of the best compounds in my point of view. There's so much loot, and if you have another team, there's so much cover as well that you can hide behind. So everything can be open.
Yeah, and this zone as well, going to be a tricky one. Going over to that northeastern side, Fools also feeling the wrath of KI1 over in the Ruins compound. But as we talked about Hartin, being on that north side, Be My Loot, going to be a tricky contender to bypass here for the side of Hardshift because they control buff the bridge over that escape towards the phase 1 zone. And despite that bridge being in play, and despite also the edge of their island hardship being in play for phase 1, that won't be for so much longer. Going into phase 2, they're going to need to clean up 4 attacks, and they're going to need to be able to now make their assault in. Also, 4 generation finding 1.
Yeah, at this point, I totally agree what Pima Loot will do. If you go towards the compound, you loot over there, and you know exactly that the teams will cross that bridge. And if they cross the bridge, then it's game over.
Right,
you have no way to get out of that bridge. Well, you can jump in the water, but the other team will see it and they will just spray in the water. Then it's finished completely directly. Because we all know if you get knocked in the water, it's completely over. Except for one place here on Sanok. If you get knocked in the water, it's not far away from this point. If you get knocked over there, you just can crawl underneath the water towards your teammate, and that's I'm not 100% sure if you know where that is. You have that island in the center.
yeah.
There is a small place that it's very shallow, and then you just crawl in the water. Nobody, if you never had it happen before, you will never expect that you can do that, and that's the best part of it. I like it, and when people think, oh, he's in the water, let's shoot him, he's knocked, it's over, and they just turn around and they just go do something else, try to find some people, and then if your teammate comes along, he just revives you, and you keep on going.
And as well, not maybe having the best time though. Unfortunately, here is Lack Nostra MVP. They dropped once again over in that Painan compound, like we saw them do in the group stage. Didn't work out for them, but they're not first out this time. They do have Sensor now coming up from the flank side, but I think for Jen, you've seen Shoki clock this rotation and looking to try time it out ahead of Senso's pace, trying to find maybe the shots over the top side. But in the bottom, we of course have the rest of Lackadostra MVP gatekeeping his way as best they can. Fools, they lose two, they lose three now. Izuaji has been eliminated in the edge of that zone. The entirety of Fool Esports wiped out.
Well, yeah.
MVP, yeah.
No, I'm just looking here where they had the bridge near Hatin. Bima Luda is already gone. They didn't even wait it for the bridge camp. They just went off the rotation and further in center of the zone.
Right, they hold on to that bridge for now, and they've actually got already one member across. Keep in mind, they've got Calhos, Array already to the other compound, and actually potentially going to gatekeep Vortax, who held on to that bridge just now, holding with Bimailu already ahead, over towards that now second phase zone, within the center compound to your Paradise Resort. Bimailu UK going to be controlling that section. On the bottom side, though, it is all of this congestion still. Lacknoster MVP not done yet. And on the north side, not done yet either. Optic, both of these squads in the middle of two teams.
Well, I will return towards the bridge. We see here that hard shift. We have Barrios. He went to the water and went to the other side. He knows exactly that vortex of the ranges. He's on the bridge. He knows that he is there, and Ranges knows that Spongy is on that bridge. So I don't think vortex. Oh, he does spot it, Carrios, and he's just been knocked him. Damn! I thought he was gonna be surprised.
And you see Rengar, so further down to one player, but they are not out of this game just yet. And Vortax looking to tax also mammoth cash through Spongy and looking to try take them now down and make their way closer as a solo towards the zone. But interestingly enough, in the rotations, you see Be My Loot here also rotating back over to the bridge, knowing that the kills have gone over in the feed, looking to try gatekeep these runners escaping through the end of that fight. Vortax does go down to Jetmir on Be My Loot, as we talked about the pick and the catch coming from their squad. As Be My Loot will take one kill. On the other end, though, the other side of Be My Loot UK, as we mentioned, sandwiching Optic Gaming. In Optic Gaming have lost one death. They've lost Baran, who's been knocked now, with closer towards the most wanted, and also Royal Knights closing in both in front and behind them.
yeah, like you said, Optic is now really under pressure. They have like 3 teams next to them, so it's really tough if you. It's already tough if you get in a fight when what on with one other team, yet alone with 4 other teams. It's crazy.
It's going to be an optic sandwich is what it's going to be, Buff. You see Jargo and Raccoon inside the shed. They found one, some found 3 with Faster and Cable. They're looking to make the 2 versus 4 happen alongside Most Wanted's aid. It's MX down to the solo. Royal Knights too aggressive, but they now keep their solo player alive. Fast is also coming in. Meanwhile, another squad, as we mentioned, Sona, Sultan knocked down, Kind Boy, the rest of Female UK looking to try and make an assault of their own. But that hilltop has been held down for now.
That's yeah, I have no words for it. I hardly see it. Even if on this level, you see that they're going for their loot and they try to avoid everybody as long as possible. But now everybody's trying to get it in a fight with each other quite early.
You see even Most Wanted, right? You see Sleepless on that flank angle, on the outpost, gatekeeping away. Also be Milo UK. They're not able with Sleepless there right now in a position for Sona and Kindboy to make that flank around, even with Coops as that double support there. You see Kid, though, on the opposite side, will also gatekeep not only Optic from aggressing in front, but also keep in mind the side of Royal Knights. Still inside this compound, albeit on the edge. On the other side, though, of course, we do have to not forget the side of 4Gen fighting over KI1. But still, the tenseness right now between all of these teams, and even the side of TSC Legends coming up from the outskirts.
Sultan just threw a nade towards Faster from Royal Knights and just being finished off with a second nade. So it's MX now all by himself from the Royal Knights. Now Sultan being knocked. Oh, look at they're just disappearing as soon as we talk about them. So maybe we should stop talking about them and they will stay in the game.
You see Jargo, though, also falls down as he engaged from Royal Knights has come through. Raccoon's found 1, but has to take down another 2. Inside the building, he stays, finds a second onto Sleepless, and Kid the only one alive, but a health advantage goes on to Raccoon, but he doesn't care. As now, Raccoon with that health disadvantage just still smacks all 3 in. The Kind Boy sees a kill feed. Will it be a 4th for Raccoon? Will he be able to pull off the 1 versus 4? It holds off for now. Kind Boy, maybe not so aggressive, trying to find that third person peek. The Molotov gonna trap in and burn him down with the help of Sona. They will not lose another. And the 1 versus 4 won't come out, but what has come forward is TSC Legends. Now the danger with that kill feed lighting up so much is Be My Loot UK might suffer the same fate.
Yeah, that was unfortunately he could manage one team, but then he was being taken care of a second team. So it goes so fast. Like we have seen that knocks on Bill, when it gets knocks on his third return and gets annihilated.
Yeah, the dissection by TSC Legends of Be My Loot UK. Unfortunately, they're going into this game, but that's how the cookie crumbles when you want to take down all of these teams. Inside that hard shift zone, now phase 4, that zone going all the way up back to the northeast side. 4Gen on the outskirts, so looking to gatekeep the rest of ICOD away, but keep in mind they have lost 2 members so far. They are reviving themselves back up as Hackshaw's coming over the rock side. Hackshaw trying to make something happen, but in front of all members, it's going to be so difficult. Hackshaw falls down. And now 4Gen, as a full squad, needs to make the marathon dash through that phase 4 zone and be able to also pick apart rescue over on the south of this zone, because it is a long journey for them to take.
Well, long journey, I wouldn't say a really long journey. It's just Sanok. If it was gonna be Miramar, I would say ooh, you better take a vehicle. You will need it. But on Sanok, I never take a vehicle on Sanok. I just always do it on foot. Even if I have cross from one side to the other side, I never take a vehicle. That's just me, but I have no idea if I do correctly. But it's also if you're in a vehicle and you're driving through Sanok, it's so congested that everybody can sneak behind a rock or in a house or up on the mountain or anything. Or so I'll rather sneak around if I run in the zone, so I can make it through safely.
And in terms of, I do agree with you there, taking no vehicles, being able to mitigate your sound, because you see how detrimental it could be with 4Gen arriving up here. They crash into the tree to slow themselves down, but albeit they lose one, almost two potentially, as Rescue still firing down. They have now taken a second. Shoki so low. Tornado just trying to run himself up to the top of that hill, snake himself down for some cover. The zone, now phase 5, shifts away over to be my loot and TSC Legends. It's 4Gen hold up against Nostra MVP. They find one onto Elisa with his flank, but then behind, and Nori also gets taken down. Tornado trying to be the MVP for his team with Shoki from behind. Rescue, meanwhile, being getting knocked and picked apart inside of phase 5. Danny on the side of that rock. The grenade going to go wide, unfortunately, for Tornado there. As you see Danny now still holding strong, mitigating the sound that he's making, of course, denying Tornado potential away from exactly which side of our rock Danny is behind. Shoki, though, could come around the flank side and finish him off.
Then he just switched from his molly. He knows that they're coming for him. He has now his M7 in his hand, and it's a
You see him
suppressor.
pick one. And that will be Tornado, potentially going to be the second. Danny makes the 1 versus 1. Potentially, yes, he will. He keeps his health alive and won't get sucked up by the zone at the end of that fight. You see also now on the other side, Be My Loot EU, are going to now be inside the gatekeeps for his zone, with also Rescue coming down from the south. Danny, maybe not long for his world.
But he did manage to annihilate at least one team. They have now 5 kills. Let me see how many. So Danny takes 3 kills for his team. Now we're in zone 6. So if you get trapped in the blue, you won't survive that much.
And in terms of the blue, of course, that damage will out heal the possible first aid kits you're going to be picking off. And that, of course, means you're not able to sprint inside the zone if you get caught out. And just as we talked about being caught out, that zone hard shifts with 0 players inside of it in phase number 6, back over between Tatmok and Paradise Resort. Be My Loot EU, although they can hold off against Rescue and Nostra MVP, they've got to be aware of the fact that you see Andy rotating to try scout over TSC Legends. TSC Legends here. They've controlled this zone the best for now. But the only ones inside, the Rescue looking to make their own assault in, Danny looking to come in behind them, and his TSC Legends, they struggle to find who to really decide to take first. You see all of the teams coming in from behind, but Andy will be spotted, and now EU lose a second. And Be My Loot going to now make the return kill, make the return two as Bujo and Chiquita come down. Too many fights chosen at the same time for TSC, and now we have to really struggle, even footing against Jetmir and Bertie. K2, the 1-for-1 right now, but Bilal is at a health disadvantage versus Bertie. The rocks and the hillside is going to pick him apart, and Bilal will fall, and Bertie keeps his team alive. But all the meanwhile, Rescue assassinated out Danny. They are now holding their position over zone. They only need to take one more. Is Bertie the only one alive?
See that Emir is now just being revived, so the Bima you really needs it. Birdie really needs a Jamie or getting rescuer behind him. They're really gonna push in. I believe that's what I would do. You know you see there's only 2 teams left. You and the others, you know you're with 3, so you know the others are just with 2. So you really want to be aggressive if you want to get into it. And you know you're on the edge of the zone. Like rescue is now exactly on the edge of the zone.
You see that zone is going to be the thing. It pushes them in here, and you see the grenades going out to try catch them on a run in. Chetmere now the only one alive as Bertie did fall down. The opposite member for Be My Loot EU to try pull off the 1 versus 3, but they're so split here. Blood going in for the first. Will find the first. Will he find the second? Blood so low. Tick coming in from the other side. Jetmare's got to pull off a miracle. Won't happen. And Be My Loot EU fall down. It'll be rescue to take the second chicken dinner. It is again double digits here with 4, 6, 8, 11 kills.
11 kills. I love it. Oh, what you surprised me is I haven't seen Sons of Foden.
Right.
They came in. They came in first in the first game, and now in the second game, look where they finished. They came in 16th.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure what went wrong over there. Did they dropped wrongly? Didn't they jump in the usual spot because it, or did they really get towards the usual spot, but they were surprised by another team? Well, most likely we'll never know unless there's someone in the chat will explain it to us.
Right, and of course, in terms of, unfortunately, Sons of Odin not having the showing at all that they wanted. On the other hand, though, Be My Loot EU, TSC Legends, second, third position. Be My Loot EU taking, of course, those 8 kills. TSC taking 4. Beginning of that fight, of course, around those other teams against Be My Loot UK, that double going their way. Lacknoster MVP take up 4th position with 5. 4Gen in 5th position with 6. KI1 Esports in 6th position with 1. Be My Loot in 7 with 4. Opti Gaming take up 8th with 3. 9th goes over to the side of Most Wanted. 10th in Hardship. 11th going to be Royal Knights. Rengar's in 12th. Fool Esports in 13th. Cyrex ESP 14th position. Uncles in 15th. And as of course mentioned, the Ria Sons of Odin.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by them. I expected I expected a lot more, especially from Albert when we saw him in the first game. He was really clutching it, and now they disappeared in nothing.
Yeah, and that's how quickly the tables can turn for you in these series of matches. And I think, of course, now it is all or never for these teams if they want to have a good showing in tonight, because going into game number 3, the leaderboard is still open. Teams that performed badly in game number 1 have really performed well here in number 2, and vice versa from the previous teams down now at the bottom. But it is 2 games down, 2 more to go. And Miramar is going to be on our screens in game number 3. As I say, grab your popcorns, grab your coffees, grab your colas, whatever you want to bring in with you to that Miramar desert. It's going to be a whopper. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, you're really gonna need your popcorn in the center of of Miramar.
You can cook it on the ground. Like...
that would be fun. Yeah. So we see you guys right after these highlights of the first 2 games. And we're back, still yet again with Highland Wolf on Miramar.
We are. The third map already, man. It's going like a breeze here. It's going
It's
so
insane.
fast.
It's really insane.
I know games always go so fast. I always say that when we do the group stage behind the scenes a little bit here. Like we always say, like, "Oh my God, we're already on Miramar. Oh my goodness, we're already on like Erangel. It's already finished." Like it's like 6 days already gone. We're already in the finals, of course. The PMCO UK finals qualified teams here, along with a handful of non-qualified teams joining into the fray just to fill up the lobby and make the action as best as it can be. Of course, though, that plane path going over from Oasis over to Minas del Sur on that middle side, slightly towards the west, means these teams still have all of their hot drops, all of their positions they want to take open to them. There's going to be no real denied, and that means one thing here. Love. It means that we're not going to see so much congestion, unless, of course, as we have a look, I might be proved wrong because I look over at Happy End of the Patron, and that area is full of color.
I was just about to say, if you look in the center of the zone, in the center of the map, it's really congested over there as well. There's a couple teams going towards prison as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to know that many of these teams choosing Happy Enders to drop here because of how this plane path went. And surprising that teams didn't even drop down maybe a little bit lower to control Picardo Hill early, going into the zone and be able to gatekeep some of these teams, looking around with that power grid compound to begin their loot. Even, of course, over gatekeeping that plateau, if you like, around the edge of San Martin over the end there on the actual map itself, is that would be somewhere where these teams could be controlling. But it is Gen to strike first, not over in that contested area, but actually down south a little bit towards Most Wanted in Picado, that will take the first knock.
Well, to be honest, I'm surprised the zone just popped up and it went to more subtly, more towards the south, and the teams keep on the north side of the zone.
Right, the fact that the teams here on the north means that on that northern edge of phase one, it's still going to be super contested. Unfortunately, though, you see Most Wanted, they lose another pick here. That's going to be crucial to their engagement going through around the Picardo side. Fools also snipe one up themselves as these teams start to really feel congested. But what surprises me here, Buff, is that despite all of these teams together, we've only seen one real knock onto Hardman here, separated unfortunately away from his teams on the edge.
Yeah, well, we have seen more teams in the north. We only see two teams in Picado, and it's been a more brutal fight than we see in the north side.
Right, and you see two members, unfortunately, Most Wanted down. They got caught out by Shoki. Ads from behind, they're looking to make something happen. Jumps back out the window, trying to find his team, but they've already disappeared. And Ads on the flank side, all alone, looking to try to take revenge onto Shoki. Won't finish the flush off, looking to actually instead take out a full squad. Maybe that's a mistake, because he's trying to maybe find three Ads. Maybe not a mistake at all if he can pull off the 1 versus 4 into gaming for a sliver of health. Gonna have to dodge every bullet that comes his way unless he heals it back up. Gaming resets, and now the tables have been turned. 1 versus 1 potential.
Yeah, that's astonishing what that's is doing here of Most Wanted. Can't believe he nearly has a squad wipe.
But what he hasn't done is wipe that squad. And you see
Yeah.
now two members are back up here. Hade is moving their way around. Ads is going to now face two. He finds a flush onto one row through the doorway into the entrance. Ads coming back through the tunnel, looking for the rest as Shoki will be burned down. Not able to be revived in time. The 2 versus 1 for the door. Can Ads find it? No, the bullets are now needing to be reloaded. Hader maybe goes down first. That's so low, and now 4Gen have the upper hand. Gaming with a higher health bar, looking now for that 1 versus 1. Hader coming around the flank side as well, looking to make that cheeky attack.
Fortunately, he doesn't make it. But Fulgen, there was they had a luck that he didn't really push in it. If he was pushing in, as soon as he had the heal in, they would have lost it. It completely would have been wiped out.
Yeah, lucky indeed is that end of game statement for the side of Forward Generation. But they still now have the center of zone in play. They can do whatever they like with. They can go to Picardo Hill for the high ground, get peace on these teams to the north, or they can even actually just take center hold outside of Picardo, maybe to the hills just to the south of them. A little bit an easier, more passive time for them would that be the case. But on the north side, not so passive as we mentioned. All of these teams still need to find their way inside the zone. Rescue crucially going to take control of half the end of the pattern with their diamond formation, overlooking KR1, overlooking Optic, and potentially even like Nostra MVP if they choose to rotate round the roadside.
Yeah, Hacienda del Patron. That's a quite interesting place. If I'm not going towards Valdemar, if I jump and if I'm playing myself, if I jump in the north, I'm not gonna go to Hacienda del Patron itself, but afterwards I will pay a visit towards it.
And I think, particularly as we mentioned before, the plateau just to the south, around literally the San Martin marker on the map, that is going to be crucial for some of these teams to be able to control if they are going to control it, albeit here. But that would enable them to gatekeep many of these teams, particularly, of course, right in front of their face, Rescue over in Hacienda when they choose finally to make that escape back outside of it. Rescue, as mentioned, are now making their rotation round towards that Picardo Hill. Black and Nostra, they've got their first, and Nori, Senso, Alicio might choose to now take that fight for them.
Yeah, like you said, high ground over San Martin is going to be very crucial. You see that La Canostra MVP they're not going for it, but they're close. While Rescue is getting that the high ground over San Martin.
And I think importantly, right, we look at now Lac Nostra MVP over that Picardo Hill. They have that strong high ground frontier over Rescue, over 4gen coming in because of that out rotation. And although they're not going to be able to catch out the likes of Be My Loot EU, now going around the edge to La Bandita Hills, they will be able to take not only potential picks coming from the north, but a more centralized position with also Picardo fairly empty. Interesting rotation for Fools, right, as well, or 4 generations, should I say, actually, going back over and swapping positions with the MVP, going through half the end of the pattern, making that wide rotation, looking to go towards the Monte Nuevo end.
Yeah, well, I'm not 100% sure what they're gonna do. Like we see that hard shift, they jump towards Campo Militar, and they're now still in the blue zone, as you can see, and they're really like we've seen in Sanok. I think that was 4gen that they were all the way up in the south, and they would have to push in towards the zone. I'm not 100% sure anymore if it was 4gen. I think it was, but now we see that hard shift. They're doing the exact same thing. We Spongy has to now he taken a vehicle. I'm not. I'm wrong. But Lotus is still in Campo Militar, still looting up. Okay, it's still only zone 1, but you really need to get in towards the zone, especially on Miramar. If you don't get in the zone itself fast enough, you miss your rotation. You miss the chance of a high ground. You miss the chance of a hard cover, and then to be honest, you're in a very bad spot.
In terms of bad spot right now, Fools, they're rotating all of the map. Now, Hader coming over to the fight around Chumacera is Sons of Odin dropping to be my loot UK on the border of the south end. Sons of Odin just down to 2 players. Haida now going back through Picardo. I don't really like this rotation, I'll be honest, really from 4th generation. They've gone north to come back to Picardo, only to go south now into more teams. What would have been much stronger is if they actually took control over that Picardo Hill. Yes, there are only 2 players, but it would have provided a lot more vision of where teams are going and a better analysis of teams moving into this phase 2 zone. And also, they would have still been able to hide around the cliffs and around the edges of that mountainside if they did get engaged upon.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm now here with Hayden. 100% where gaming is. They are split up. I would gaming is still in Picardo while Hader is now getting back. He was already left Picardo, and now he's turning back. Well, we see that also that La Nostra MVP, they're still on the high ground on the plateau, just north side of Picardo. So they're really controlling the zone. It's not quite central the zone anymore, but still, it's quite astonishing that I'm casting also North American scrims, and I've seen that there's a team that's Tempo Storm. They always jump in Picardo, and then they directly go towards the center of the zone, like La Nostra MVP. They really where they are now at this point, that plateau, the overside over Picardo. They really love that side. You can control Picardo. You can control everything that's coming from San Martin towards the south. It's it's a lovely place, that plateau.
Right, and we even talked, of course, to Danny earlier about how he was, of course, feeling going into tonight's games for Lac Nostra MVP. And I think, in terms of actually Danny and the rest of their crew, they said they were feeling excited. They said they were feeling really happy with how they did, but they know that to win this thing, they've actually got a potential to do so. And for them, they want to be the best, and they have so high a bar that they've set for themselves, and they're going to train using these scrims because they say that anything other than a first place would be a disappointment for them, despite the fact that 3 teams, the top 3, go through to the PMPL EU West by the end of this week.
Well, if they want to get that first spot, then they have to be a little bit more aggressive. They have potential. They have really potential, and I like seeing them playing. But I have the feeling that they're just missing that small, light touch to really get that aggressiveness. You know what I mean?
In terms of aggressiveness right now, is that blue zone over in Hacienda closes in. Optic Gaming looking to take out KI1, as it will be the 1-for-1 trade, but albeit before that in now fight, you see KI1 have lost multiple members. Raccoon goes down as well. Moran's coming in for the fight as well. Will find Milan, and that goes the entire squad of KI1. Optic Gaming, they keep themselves to alive, but they need to run back into zone with, of course, on the flank side, one death now coming in will force some extra support with the medkits.
Yeah, if you stay in the blue zone too much, you're really gonna need those medkits. And we see here Baran, he has 5 medkits and 15 bandages. And the way the game has changed in the beginning, I've been told I'm not an old timer in this game, like people say. But when I started playing, the meds weren't that important. Now you see a lot of players take at least 5 med kits. They take a lot of nades and a lot of smokes. It's evolved so much, uh, and that's a good thing that the game is evolving. To keep the spirit is still alive, you need to have the gameplay by the players. They have to really change, and there comes also the in-game the leadership involved. You need an active leadership, an active and in the game you need an active in-game leader that still directs you how to go. And if you have all that thing going on, that's a recipe for success.
Right, and perhaps one of these teams that can take success right now inside the zone has been My Loot UK. You see them on the edge, facing up against Rengars. Rengars, they look to have a strong game too. They weren't able to quite finish it off. Of course, Vortex got pinned on the bridge. They didn't have the real start that they want, but they got a better game here in game number 3. You see U3Q coming round the south side, but on the other side, Vortex has already picked off one on the back end. Sona has gone down, and now Clash in the front line has to face up against the side of 2, but one grenade almost straight into Zagi's hands will knock him out. But now the revive potentially comes through as Sona comes up closer towards the rest of their team. Never mind, because the grenade and the explosions from bat vehicles will be enough to pop them out. More grenades thrown down and Tickle Kindborn almost taking them down through the smoke on the other side. You see Clash G's also fallen, and Sultan in the middle of all of it is looking so vulnerable as they will go down. Kindboy picks up one kill. They will find the first, a pity first, as it will be Rengars to clean up the fight.
And in that fight, they lost a player. It's it's not that bad that you lose a player, but it can be so important that you in the end game that you're really with with full players. If you're not, yeah, we have seen it already before. If you have the numbers, then you really can win it, especially when it's only against the 2 or 3 players.
Right, and particularly with Miramar as well, so open. If we have another hard shift away from Los Leones over towards La Bendita Hill, it could be particularly scary for the side of Rengars. But particularly scary indeed for Optic, as they one still under rotation on the edge of zone. They need to make that revive as Rescue look to pin them down, but need to be careful themselves because Be My Loot EU looking for revenge from the Sandhawk match, looking to try gatekeep side of Rescue outside of this zone.
Do you really think they would want their revenge?
I think they do, because look at that zone go once again, and you see it now in favor of Be My Loot EU. In Rescue, all they can do now is watch and try to decide themselves how they want to disengage away from Optic and engage back around to Be My Loot, or instead take the fight to Optic and risk a rotation around La Bendita Hill. Inside down on the bottom. Masters here in the side of his first game. 4 generation making their hard rotation a bit harder even is for Hardship themselves. As they now make the fight versus GSC Legends, but they've lost Bilal, and Chiquita now needs to come and defend. With K2 on the other side, Lotus Spongy split on that 1 versus 1, but crucially, despite the fact they now lose 2 as Bujo falls down, it's going to be a long range fight that Hardship are going to have to take. Yeah, as well. Multiple fights, right? Happening on 2 different fronts. Right, and we saw it done beforehand in terms of against the side of most wanted going up against 4Gen earlier on. They almost found a wipe, but 4Gen, because they kept 2 players alive, they were able to do just that themselves, and they wipe out LNMVP from the game. Meanwhile, we talked about the side of Rescue still facing up against Optic, still on the edge of this zone. Rescue have lost one though for now, as Optic look to continue the pressure. Blood has been knocked down, spilling all his blood down over the sands of Miramar. That zone, meanwhile, will not play prisoner to any of these teams holding on to these fights, as it will shift back over to TSC Legends. And Baran going ahead of his team, looking to gatekeep not only Rescue, but also Be My Lou to You.
We're here now with the Sons of Foden with Albert. We've seen them not clutching it in the first game. They were nowhere in on Sanok, and now they're back on their feet and Miramar. Look at Albert. He's throwing those nades towards the ranges. Is he gonna get a sword wipe?
Looking pretty beat up right now, as Zephyr will find a pick, and they will find the first. Zephyr with their teammate Albert from the Sons of Odin will redeem themselves on this third game, but they need to find a way off this mountaintop. They need to find a way into zone, because it's starting to get a little bit contested, a little bit spicy here on the heat of Miramar. 4Generation also rotating away for their position inside the zone. Rescue caught out on the edge, meanwhile Optic rotating in towards the center. We talked about even Hardshift still alive. They are still trying to hold on to this game, but holding on right the edge of Rescue. They pick up the one onto Be My Lou EU, as they will also fall out the game.
Well, we see here Hader on the map from 4Gen. It just rotated in, and they're already on. He's already in a fight with. I think that's. Let me have a look. I think I just missed it. That is Bima Loot. He rotated in. Come across Bima Loot Birdie. Now Bima Birdie is now in a fight with a Rescue.
But you see, Rescue here though, they have gone for that kill, and they've gone too aggressive. They've lost one themselves, as now they have Hyper on the back front, still trying to chuck those grenades to explode Bertie into smithereens. But 4Generation on the hillside, they're making these rotations. They're on the edge now as phase 5. 50 seconds to go until that zone shifts again. And it's going to be up to which way it shifts to determine who's going to take the pick and who's going to take the chicken dinner, because it will be actually maybe one side of Optic as they find the pick onto 4Generations. Hyder Gaming now on his own, makes a revive, but immediately as soon as he comes back up, Hyder goes back down in the punishment going into now 4Gen. Gaming, low health, as well as TSE Legends. Chiquita coming around the side angle as that smoke clears. Maybe Gaming be picked off by Chiquita as well.
Yeah, it's crucial. Ooh, that's Hayden now being finished off by Optic. So they're really going to our third party now. See Optic now pushing in towards Gaming. 4Generation.
And you see Optic on the top side is Rescue. Hyper will be eliminated. Rescue out the game in 6th position. Gaming now has to hold on potentially for revenge against Baran and 1 death. Smoke, the only thing going to keep him on cover, but not going to be enough, as they will fall down. The 6th phase closing in on them all, as Optic Raccoon on the opposite end for his squad now tries to take a 1 versus 3 onto TSC. Be My Lou also falls to Raccoon. TSC down to 2 players. Raccoon on the front line, looking to still try put the pain as TSC come back up to 3.
Over here we have Lotus as well, and as a solo player, he's closest towards the zone. While we have Optic in the background and TSC having a fight. He keeps on looking for a fight. It's not that he's hiding out as a solo player. He's looking for that fight, and you hear in the background that he's shooting at them as well too.
You see the bait from Raccoon actually picks off two members. Bujo, now the only one alive, but it wasn't a clean bait either because you talked about Lotus and our third party. It's just put in the bullets through that smoke onto one death and onto Baran, but they keep themselves alive, at least, albeit for a moment's notice. As Lotus now makes a rotation inside to phase 7, will not be gate kept by the final couple seconds before the phase. You see TSC will finish off also Raccoon, putting Optic down just to two members, a 2-on-1 and 1, but Lotus, the solo, controls the zone.
Yeah, he was first in that zone, and he just managed to take down a member of Optic. Takes down Baram as well. Look at that.
You see one death. This solo now for Optic. Baran's going to be chewed and spit out by the zone. It is Lotus now looking to maybe make the third, flush out Optic entirely, or maybe go on to TSC Legends for good measure, as they are now the only duo here in this game alive. Bujo, K2 making her ascent round to death. The grenade puts them to half health, but Bujo won't find the angle he needs. Another one from Lotus will now tickle him to low health. The first aid kit puts him back up to good health. Good health for now, but maybe for much not longer as you see him outside the zone alongside the rest of these players. 10 seconds to go until these players are going to be forced to make that rotation. The smoke coming out from Lotus prepping for the rotation. Indeed, as one death will fall down to Bujo. Make it now just a 2 versus 1. Lotus driving in, so aggressive as a solo. Makes it inside the zone, picks off K2. Bujo now the only one alive, but he's low health outside the zone. And it will be Lotus looking to just gatekeep him away now too. The grenade goes the wrong way down onto K2, who falls as well. Bujo now looking for the 1 versus 1 at the high ground. Lotus trying to find a pick, but it won't be enough. Bujo will escape the chicken dinner for TSC Legends, and they will be the ones that take the third game.
Yeah, it was quite amazing that to be honest, I thought Lotus was going to take it. I'm really going to be honest. Lotus, I was cheering for Lotus in myself. Come on, Lotus, you're all by yourself. He's being aggressive. You see, he has 5 kills. 5 kills on Miramar. And I think he's shit top fragger from on this game. But being that late in the zone in the game all by yourself, it's and being so aggressive. I was amazed, to be honest. I really was amazed.
Yeah, I was amazed too. The fact that actually Lotus did get so far, though in, of course, this game, did manage to pick up that second place position, which is going to be core for Hardshift going up above the standings. And we saw even going into the last game in yesterday's matches that Hardshift were able to pull out a strong performance when it counts. And I feel like in terms of Hardshift, right, as a team in as a whole, they're able to actually turn up when it counts, and they're able, when the pressure is on, this team gets the points, but just this time wasn't able to clinch the chicken dinner.
No, it's just a little bit too little, but I can't stop about it. I was really amazed that he managed to get that far, that being that aggressive, and making that 5 kills. So 5 kills. So they had a total of 6 kills. Then they have a second place. It's gonna count up with the points.
And yeah, Hardshift there with 6. Optic Gaming in third position with 6, 7, 8, 9 kills as well. I'm gonna have to ask you to go up on the leaderboard because I've been kicked out of the room, unfortunately. So if we're able to see the rest of the results, that would be pro as we look back up to 4th position in 4th position. Fools in 5th. And Be My Loot, sorry, in fourth position. 4th Generation in 5th position. Rescue take up 6th, and Sons of Odin in 7th position with 3 kills. You see, Rengarzo in 8th position will pick up at least, albeit some number of kills with 6 there in total. 9 goes over to Lack Nostra MVP. 10th in Be My Loot, believe UK will be this one, Be My
Yep.
Loot. In 11th position will be KI1. 12th there for, unfortunately, Royal Knights. And of course, down even lower in that standings, you see in well, that 12th position will be Bradford, 13th
Yep.
will be Royal Knights there, and now in 14th position, unfortunately, of course, Most Wanted not having the game that they wanted at all.
Like in the second game that Sons of Odin, they really didn't have the game in on Sanok. Well, they did it slightly better in the third game. They came in 7. It's amazing. I've seen so much beautiful stuff, but I've seen also some strange things going on. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah, I have no words for it, to be honest.
I mean, it is going to be interesting going right into the final game. I think TSC Legends are one of these teams that are looking potentially now for that top spot again here in tonight's scrims. And what is also a surprise to me, I think, in terms of decided Lack and Austria MVP, is despite their pressure that they're putting onto themselves and their potential strong performance that we saw in day one, their first day of the group stage, where we got a juicy 2 chicken dinners, they haven't had that standout performance since that moment. And they've
Mhm.
been not as strong as a team that I think they have really needed to be living up to be, particularly going towards some of these final zones, unable to make it to these final stages when it gets a little bit too congested for them. And I think as a team who really values being centralized in the zone, values being ahead of teams early on, take that through to the late game stage. Keep ahead of these teams, despite how hard these zones may be sometime. And perhaps that is how they will take that top 1 spot, because they have the potential and they've shown that they can take these fights when it counts.
Yeah, I'm totally agree about that. I said it before. They have the potential, but like you said, I think they put too much pressure on themselves, and so they can't show it how aggressive they can be.
Right,
And
exactly. It's intense. So, like, of course, if like their aggression. I'm sorry, like, what's your point there?
this is the third game on Miramar. We'll be gonna see a wrangle again later on.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, it's already on a wrangle. I'm, like you said, it goes so fast. People do say time flies by when you're having fun, and I'm having the joy of my life.
Oh man, it's a beautiful set of 3 games that we've been able to catch so far. But of course, one more to go here, Buff, before the night is over with you, I'm afraid. But
Yeah,
we've still got one more. One more to go. Let's make it count. It's going to be back over in a wrangle. Don't go anywhere, guys, because it's going to be on the screens just real soon.
Ripping hard and more less. Never stop, no rest. Till the stress is breath in my chest. Till it's diamonds wrapping my neck. Progress to a god from a god mess. Hopeless, more tests. More blessed. Dug deep down trying to find my best. Find a beast, had to kill a conquest. I'm next. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down, make new thoughts. Like jumping off of that rooftop. Whole life never when I knew not to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yours. Steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. Full of stage, trying to find my pain. See some coming out of that rain. My team, really my team. I'ma never slow down. I'ma never behave. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage. It's taking over. I'm a slave for you. You say I make you nervous, a tragedy, I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning, you wonder how I got this way. You think I'm someone to be saved, someone to clean up and tame. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you think I would look pretty on your arm once you cover up my bruises and battle scars, but it always ends the same. Can't bear the things I've had to face. Got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you break your back to make me feel again. Suffocate to make me breathe again. Lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption never came. I stopped asking for forgiveness, cause you should know only fools tread where the angels fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close. Save myself by turning into stone. So save your judgment cause you just don't know. But some things never change, never change. Oh, they say I should feel guilty and change my ways, leaving crumpled bodies in my wake. Swear I didn't mean to make them break. Swear I didn't mean to make them break. But they're so delicate and so mundane, and they keep coming like a moth to a flame. Oh, some things never change, never change. You break your back to make me feel again. Suffocate to make me breathe again. Lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change.
So we're back with the fourth and final game on Wrangle tonight. I'm gonna say I'm gonna be I'm gonna miss it later on. It's gonna be it's when passing by so fast. It's been an amazing experience for me now.
I mean, you've been able to cast some really good teams here going into the finals, man. Honestly, though, it's been a really interesting series of games in terms of this leaderboard and teams going back and forth and looking at how teams are really good insight into how they're really looking to adapt, how they're looking to try new strategies going into the finals on Thursday, right? As we see on our playing path here, the final game of the PMCO UK finalist scrims, hosted, of course, by B. Miley. Thank you very much. You see the playing path going over on that south side, over towards Milton Power. And I think looking again, you see Royal Knights most wanted dropping in their comfort picks over to that South Island, but not so comfort for teams like, of course, For Generation, who at the beginning dropped over in Kameshki. Not going to be able to do that this time round.
No, that's true. The flight path has been so sudden that to drop in Kamishki, and even if you take a vehicle, I don't think a lot of people will go towards Kamishki.
Right, and especially in terms of also drawing that line, of course, as Press Tarzan would love to say as well, by that playing path, teams realistically only, as you see, going to go as far as the likes of KI1 across that straight line if we divide our angle into horizontally. But that zone will play a little bit kind of to these teams for now. Not going to be a nasty northern one. It is going to be centralized, just similar to how we realistically saw game one going to go in. This is great for these teams, right? But because they're going to be able to now take a second shot in a similar first phase zone and be able to really look at how what went wrong in game number one and adapt to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm part of the cast of the Oceania United scrims, and we were doing a lot of preparation scrims for the wildcard region, and during those scrims, it popped up on Wrangle constantly on the same spot. It was constantly the end zone on Mount Everest. We see that the zone now it ends on towards Mount Everest, so I don't think it's gonna be an ending on towards there. But it the zone, it can pop up completely the same thing over and over again. Like we've seen, it was 8 times in a row, 8 times Wrangle games on a row, constantly ending on Mount Everest. And now we see the zone pops up, like you said, yeah, like you said, again, quite similar than the first game. It's not completely the same, but it's very similar. It's again close towards Yasnaya, and you never know what the zone will do.
Never know what a zone will do because the zones just get brutal and more brutal every single time. I think they come up on my screen. I think they have taken a little bit of my of my love for Sandhawk and Vikendi and it's just throwing it into the game zones for the group stage and in tonight's games somewhat. And it's just really made it quite a tough time in some ways for these players to see which the heck way the zone is wanting to take it. But Rengars are going to take that knock over in towards the farm area. As you see, Be My Loot EU are going to prove successful. Although they lost one in the process, so they're going to be able to revive them back up. And Rengars cannot say the same. Salute, the only one alive.
Well, talking about zones, lately when I'm casting other scrims, the zone shifts of every single zone zone, it yells out, "Give us back Vikendi." I'm still wondering why they pulled out Vikendi out of the PMCO.
I would love to know that too. I'm sure there is some logical reason somewhere on the interwebs, but I can't find it because I am busy looking at the loot in this meaty meal that he might be for Be My Loot, looking to try take the aggression onto him. 4 versus 1. Zaloot picking up what he can, preparing for the engage and the storm that is about to come his way. Jetmir will be the bait, and Shadow will pick him up. And that will be My Loot taking the final one of Rengars out early on in this game.
Yeah, well, to lose of a team of Be My Loot EU. Yeah, yeah, Be My Loot EU. It's not a complete shame. They're they can be very aggressive. I've seen them playing before, and they really can be aggressive. And that's what we like to see in these scrims. Aggressive teams. You're not gonna be able to reach that chicken dinner if you just ride the zone and keep on going and just um, get away from the fights and stuff like that. You really need to be aggressive to get that chicken dinner, but not aggressive all the time. You need to be aggressive smartly. You know, to pick the moments when you have to be aggressive.
I think about that controlled aggression, right, is what we want to see, particularly now coming for a similar playing path, a similar, not playing path, a similar zone, excuse me, here to the side of KI1 and Be My Loot on their drops around the Roshawk area. In KI1, dropping in that triangle formation, very almost, if not the exact same as they did in the first match. They do not want to, of course, be trapped though by many teams. They're not going to be trapped in the north side, but potentially this time around the south here, with Royal Knights and, of course, Most Wanted separating out of that South Island, looking for a position here, going to add the congestion. Also, as you see, Sons of Odin going to make that wide rotation through maybe round Georgia Pole up towards Rescue and try and make an eastern entrance, western entrance from there.
I'm sorry.
Excuse you, man. Oh, bless you. You're dying on stream, man. Don't die on me just yet. Like, you gotta keep yourself alive. But you'll be okay. You'll be okay. I'm here with you. If you see like Nostra MVP also joining up for some support here, this time maybe on to the off and the enemies of KI1. Hackshot might just be that hiccup and that mistake for their team. Rotating maybe a little bit late, does manage to get himself back into play and back into a now 2-1 split. Would make it 2-2, actually, excuse me, as Milano and Co on the back end. But LNMVP, we're coming towards that central location. It's already taken. They're going to have to take this fight and show us what they're made of and show us that team fight prowess that we've praised them on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but just a small zip of some lemonade and everything is okay now. Oh, that was a little bit scary for a second. But we're back. No worries. And that's
You're not the first one to choke on my stream. I've had Imperium choke on the stream and I ranked, funnily enough, too. So maybe it's me. Maybe I'm like, I have that effect on people.
Nah, nice. Maybe we just surprised of your great casting over here. Maybe it's gonna be that.
Oh man, you sweeten me up here. Will be Most Wanted. Also coming in on top of Potato Hill. Looking now for the retreat is a just lost one. The only thing that will happen to Most Wanted is the negatives. Is Ad now out of the game. Chocobo now showing up strong for the start of KI1. As you see Lacanostra MVP smack them into the ground, you're going to need to have revive, going to need to be a little bit stronger there with Hackshot on that front line to stop the engagement coming from the opposite hill. Behind them, of course, Be My Loot UK, looking ever and edging ever so closer towards the team for the fight.
What really surprises me, we've seen it in the first game as well. Nobody took Yasnaya. In the first game, nobody landed in Yasnaya and nobody went to Yasnaya neither. And now in the second game, we're down to we're almost finished off the first zone, and nobody's going towards Yasnaya again. And the zone just shifted. And Yasnaya is still in play, but nobody's going for it. And I hope people will go there, because if you go towards Yasnaya, the town is so big. You can land with two teams and not even come across to each other.
Yeah, and I think that will be Hardship, right? Going to make that rotation from the north side. But Be My Loot, they've made an even weirder and interesting rotation here. 2-2 split between two different teams. You got Lacanostra MVP behind the side of Kind Boy, and of course, as well, looking over behind them, their teammate here. But Insane, Kind Boy, separated so far, sandwiched so close between Danny, just literally next door neighbors towards them, that could be disastrous for them.
Yeah, or if you have your enemy next to you and you don't have your teammates close with you, that really can be a disastrous.
And you see Sultan now even coming out together. Hisoka, Hackshot looking to try to make that 1v1. The rest of KI1 behind him. Open land towards him as he makes that buggy rotation. Will get away with it though. And that is even more shocking. But
Yeah.
able 2 rotations from Be My Loot UK to get away with that. On the other hand, though, on the backside, 30 for Be My Loot EU, taking it to Royal Knights.
Well, see Sultan over here. He's not only getting close to his teammates. He's passing by and scouting for the rest of the team. To know exactly where everyone is, and spreading the news with his teammates. Now he's really gonna push. They're gonna push and keep.
It's interesting, right? In terms of, right, they're pushing inside. Sultan, Clashdy, they've already taken down Hisoka. Hackshot now to half health as well. Yes, they're going to maybe be able, maybe actually not, because of how aggressive Clashdy and Sultan are being. They actually have to come up towards that second floor, revive maybe Hisoka on the backside, and be speedy about it. Instead, it will be Hackshot looking for that fight. Will go down though as well. Clashdy will not fall. And you see Milan also now in the center. 1 versus 3 situation now for them. Sultan in the front door. Milan doesn't really have anywhere to go. And will just also fall. In KI1, split, undecisive, and out of the game.
In 11th position, so then they're not gonna get a lot of points. I don't think they had a lot of kills either. If you want to take a Laca Nostra MVP, they now have 1 kill. Like you said earlier, they want to be number 1. If they're not gonna have that number 1 position, they're not gonna be happy. But if you only get 1 kill and you don't manage to finish everything off that you get, then it's not and it's not even worth it to get in these games.
Yeah, and a team that is also looking a little bit maybe more consistent here is Rescue, though, over the 3 games compared to some other teams. In even speaking to Tick earlier as well, before tonight's scrims, saying that they weren't happy with their final day's performance in the group stage. But what we are going to be trying out in these scrims is new strategies and them trying to improve their consistency, as you've seen them already start to be able to do. Yes, it's not like we didn't have a bad showing inside the group stage. They were one of the top teams. And to practice here, to change up your strategy and maybe find even stronger ways to win games and pick up more points going into the finals. Rescue is already one of the most experienced, if not the most experienced team going into the finals. Could be even scarier than before.
Yeah, totally agree on that. If you get the chance to do these scrims, like we have here doing by Be My Loot, with the other finalists, and you decide not to show up, I only can say you're in I can't get it in my mind that you decide not to get some practice in with the other teams that you're gonna play against in the final. You will never know them their playstyle completely. And that's what you really need and on this level.
Right, and in terms of Rescue here particularly, are just showing up, as we mentioned, straight onto 4th generation. A triple knock now for them, but finally, Tick has been returned for their aggression. Be My Loot UK has spotted it and they've found one pick. They're looking to find back second as Hyper now comes back with blood on the backside, looking to try make more members on the front line to be able to revive Tick, keep him back in this game as Sultan and Kindboy have been forced away. Clarity was knocked out in the other end. Hyper has been knocked as well. Make that a triple as Coyote's going to be exploded into the ground. Blood, the only one alive. A slow rotation is going to come out. But what I'm really surprised about is it Be My Loot UK. They're not being more aggressive and not looking for these first because it's 3 members down. Blood was far away, and they're going to allow the revives to come through.
Well, I think the most they're gonna be surprised as well by the red zone. The rescue is being there are 2 members, well at least 2 members being knocked by the red zone. You get surprised by the red zone at this level. If I am playing and I see red zone, I see adios amigos. I'm going inside the building.
Right, and even in terms of making it inside, Black Nostra MVP already looking to centralize inside the zone. Of course, on the outside, Rescue, heartbreak for them right now. They looked like they were having the strong showing that they needed against for duration. Be My Loot UK really put a stopper in it for now, at least to halt their progression towards that chicken dinner, to halt their momentum in this final game. Black Nostra MVP ahead of him, though, will be that team that both need to take going forward. Be My Loot EU on the south end in the central position, though. And a position that really surprises me here for being strong is TSC Legends holding his compound, this hilltop, over this very, very open phase 3.
And right in the center of the zone. It's spot on in the center. While the Sons of Odin is doing their rotation, and they're also trying to get that center, but we have most wanted also close by. But TSC they're literally holding down the center of the zone.
TSC might be the ones to take the chicken dinner, is now phase 4 goes their way as well. You see Be My Loot EU, Nostra MVP. They're looking to try and make their way go through into now phase 4, but it's going to be tricky. Maybe even decide to gatekeep Be My Loot UK on the outside as Rescue up north are able to break away from that fight, are able to now take a new position inside the zone. LN MVP, they're charging up though. They made it through the open ground and are on the edge of this compound. Danny, now Alicio for dual support. You see on the other side though, the trio has come together with Senso in from behind. Fool, Hater down to the play zone on the outskirts, not able to make it inside the zone as this fight looking to break out. Bujo coming in closer with Will.
Well, we see Danny here taking some cover behind the UAZ because Rescue is on the background. They're also shooting towards LMVP, and while they're having a fight with TSC now with Elise. I'm hoping I did say that correctly. Elise is now being knocked, so Danny is going for the revive. While TSC knows there's a player knocked, and they throw out the nade. Look at the nade, and they're getting shot in the back from Be My Loot.
You see the 2-for-2 going away for now, but it's still a 2 versus 1 because LNMVP start today and play today with only 3 players. Chiquita will going to be able to survive. Chiquita from the front window will just deny the entryway of LNMVP any further into this final game. They will fall in 7th position. You see now Be My Loot EUK struggling as Kind Boy's been knocked towards the edge of zone. 30 meters still to go for Sultan as the zone behind him edges ever closer.
Well, if it was me, if I was in Sultan's position, I would never would go into the Dacia. It's smoking so hot. Just a couple bullets and it explodes. And if you're in the vehicle and at that point it explodes, it's over. You're completely finished. Well, we've seen also that Kind Boy has been finished off, so it's for Sultan by himself now for Be My Loot.
Sultan, no, they have 8 kills in their pockets. They can keep this game in their favor and pick up some mega win if Sultan can stay alive. But he's so far the furthest out from zone of any team here, and it's going to be a mammoth task holding up against the laser beams of TSC Legend. Looking straight in his face, just Chiquita will just one shot him into the ground. And now the only team to make it inside Rescue look for their own move to go further forward. But the turn on the side of Sons of Odin, still the full squad, the high ground of their own, looking to do just what TSC did to the side of BML UK.
Well, Sons of Odin, they're still complete, and they're well, we've seen them clutching in the end, and we'll see now that Albert is taking some shots into blood. And to be honest, I think it's only going to be the first, the only map they really are interested in. I don't think Sanok is really their map, to be honest. Well, while we see here they're still alive, they're the last in the last 5 teams. On a wrangle, we've seen them winning the first game and on a wrangle. But if you want to get up on the with the big boys, you need to be on all maps good, not only on a wrangle.
Yeah, despite a wrangle gonna be half of the games that teams play going into the finals, they need the top 3 spots. They're gonna be down to who, as you say, is the most consistent all around. A jack of all trades is Rescue. Make their assault now into zone, coming over that ridge line very, very tentatively, being aware that we need to throw the smoke road over to TSC Legends to not be knocked down by the number 1 team going into the finals, looking for a strong showing to show us exactly why they were placed first.
Yeah, I'm really I'm wondering really who is gonna take the dub of the full game. Is it gonna be Sons of Odin again on the wrangle, or who will, or is it gonna be Rescue? We've seen both teams being so good tonight, but also being quite not that good also.
And as well, looking still as 5 teams here still to go through. 4 will fall. 1 will be the last chicken dinner of tonight. And Sons of Odin here, with 4 players alive, looking to maybe make a strong showing, make 2 chicken dinners of the night for themselves and be full of chicken in their belly going into tomorrow's scrims, going into the future through this week. But inside that compound, still holding on to the edge, TSC Legend, unsure potentially where to go, as Rescue diving in on top of them. They've gone for the engage. They've now just below them. Will has spotted this rotation out, though. Coyote and Blood, they make their ascent, as we talked about, over the ridgeline. Jetme is going to be that spoiler, but will go down. Only there to allow Rescue inside a compound. Rescue edging their way as that zone closes in. 1 more building separating between them and TSC Legends. On the other side, though, Sons of Odin, they wiped out away inside of his zone, and they're waiting for Rescue TSC Legends to finish up their fight to steal away a second chicken dinner on a wrangle.
Well, it's now up to Sons of Odin. They're still well, they're down to 2, but they're still 2 knocked. So if they get the revive on, we have Rescue and TSC here still focused on each other. So if they manage to leave it out, let them fight it out for the second place, leave it out, and then go for the clutch against the remaining maybe last member, maybe 2. we will see in a small in a jiffy.
You see Engage and Rescue wiped out as soon as it started by TSC Legends. TSC looking with Will, holding on as JC now on the cliff's edge themselves. They made their spot into the center of zone. They've been allowed with that fight on to Rescue the chance to really now steal it away. Being so far away, now coming in face stemming, going to really pull on the pressure to these teams. Will, Chiquita throwing the smoke roads down as safe away as possible. An excellent grenade from JC finds Will. And now Chiquita, the only one alive. It will be Curtains. His Sons of Odin quietly assassinate their second game victory. 4 kills, but it was still that second win on the board.
Yeah, especially I'm quite surprised that after they had their second game on Sanhok while they were finished on dead last. Now they clutched it again on Wrangle. So apparently it's really their map. I think they really love Wrangle.
Yeah, in terms of a wrangle, I mean, in terms of the group stage as well, Sons of Odin, they've not had bad games on Sanhok, but I think it was just a little blip going into today, which albeit is a great day for them. Although they might not have picked up loads of kills, they might not have been the most consistent team. In terms of victories, they take up half their games in total here, Buff. And as we see even TSC Legends, we talked about how consistent they're being over these games tonight, and another second place now for them. And they take up not only second, but because of their strong position, they were also able to pick up a juicy 11 kills on top. Third is Rescue there with 2 points. Fourth being My Loot once again with 6, 7, 8, 9 kills as well. Most Wanted in 5th position. Be My Loot EU, I believe, will be in 6th position with 8. Lacknostra MVP with 4 kills and 7th. 4Gen in 8th position with 0 kills. Hardshift take up 9-0 as well. Royal Knights with 2 in 10th. KI1 in 11th. 12th. Rengars and leading at the bottom of that table. And I think in terms of tonight's games, right, in terms of TSC Legends, yes, being the most consistent, Sons of Odin being the most victorious in terms of chicken dinners, I think the concern on the other side of the spectrum is really for the likes of KI1. Going off of that last game, they've not had the greatest of games in total. And it really puts a question mark on my head right now. In terms
1 second, let me have a look.
Yeah.
No, it's still not there. The question mark.
In terms of like, yeah, I know. Is it there? No.
Oh yeah, but no, yeah. Oh well.
It might be appearing right now because KI1, if they don't show up again in these scrims, that question mark is going to expand and you're going to see it eventually because as a top team coming out of the group stage, I expected better.
Yeah, totally agree on that. If you get the manage in the group stages, that you have that you win the group stages, well, sort of speaking. Now tonight, their performance, it's compared to the group stage, it's let me put it harshly, pathetic, to be honest. I hope I don't I don't get anybody in.
That's one way to put it, rough. But I mean,
it's hard. It's harshly said, but it's yeah. You know what I mean.
Right? Yeah, and even on day 2 of the group stage, 16th position, 14th position over 2 games. KI1, they can have these pop-off days, but equally they can have these disastrous days as well. And I think, of course, that has obviously been the 4 games here. That has been the action, albeit on our screens. Thank you, though, for joining me in this adventure, Buff, for 4 beautiful games of scrims and watching these PMCO UK finalist teams start to develop.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, to be honest. I want really thank you for the opportunity. I enjoyed it.
Very welcome.
I'm still new in casting, but I hope I I don't disappoint you.
You're doing well. You're on the right track, so don't worry. We're getting there, and you'll be a good caster. Yeah, like you'll be a really good caster. Yeah.
I do hope so. Well, it's a combined thing. It's being new and being English, not my first language.
Yeah, very tough.
It's my third language, so um,
No,
but I
second.
it's English is my third language. French is my second. So that's that being said, I really enjoy it. I enjoyed it tonight. It's been now 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's like where did that time go went to? It went so fast by. Like I said earlier before the last game started, times flies by when you're having fun, and I really enjoyed myself watching these teams playing aggressive, playing smartly, like Sons of Odin in the last game, in the first and the last game. Their rotation, I've seen they're rotating all the way up north and then coming all the way down again towards the center of the zone, at the edge of the zone in the end. I really enjoyed seeing Sons of Odin playing in the last game.
Yeah, indeed. But of course, that has been all of the games tonight. Thank you guys, of course, for tuning in and go support Buff because he's on his journey. He's on a mission right now. Go check him out. Go check out his streams. And as we say, we'll be back tomorrow potentially with even more juicy PMCO UK finalist actions.
Let's
So,
hope it's going to be a little bit even more juicy. I've seen juicy games tonight, and if I'm going to see more juicy games, it's going to be flying so much faster tomorrow.
indeed, indeed, it will be. As we'll catch you same time. So for the PMCO UK scrims tomorrow, you know where to go check out Buff669, as we say. Myself, Harlan Wolf on Twitter. Go check us out. Give us some support, of course, if you are interested in what we do. But as well, that has been tonight's games. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for tuning in. We will see you in the future.